video by I was going to record it and I switched off my video by mistake. So welcome everyone. Lorena, hi. Good to see you. And all the beautiful faces behind the boxes. Hello everyone. And all the beautiful faces. Mahima, I see you. Hi. Hi all, and thank you for being here. And this is our first conversation around something that I just wanted to bring into your worlds as an energy um, of possibilities and an energy of knowing that I have your back in ways that are undefinable and not explainable. Whether you've done a class with me or not is totally immaterial, girls. Somebody texted me and asked me, can I join? I've never done a class with you. I was like, of course you can. Of course. This is consciousness. This is possibilities. It's not based on if you have done a class with me or not. It's open to everyone. You can share it with the world. What would it be like if we could all have each other's backs and if we could all truly be there for one another? So this is the first conversation that I put out. Sex and receiving. I was wondering, what's that conversation that everybody wants to have, yet doesn't want to talk about it? And then it was like, sex and receiving. Let's do that. Let's hit it where it's required and not go around the bushes trying to find it. Let's just go do it. So thank you all for hopping on and for being here. And I would like to start with actually doing the meaning process for all of you before we move forward with sex and with receiving. Okay, so the meaning process is something that we run to erase, to dissipate the meaning that we've attached to anything in our life. You can run this process with money. You can run this process with somebody who you really care for. You can run this process with somebody, maybe yourself. You can put your name in there. You can also run it with your business, with your parents, your kids, or anybody. All right. So today we're going to first run the meaning process with sex, and whatever shows up, let's just pock and pot it. All right. Okay, let's go. Yay, boom it. All right. So what does sex mean to you? Go for it. Give out your answers, write them out, or if you don't want to share them, that's okay. And if you want to verbalize them, I would love you all to unmute yourselves and share. So what does sex mean to you?
It gives peace to your body. It's pleasure, and you feel relaxed.
Awesome.
You feel
Right,
happy. It gives you all the positive feelings.
Awesome. Right, wrong, good, bad, pop, pop. Wow, all 9 shots, boys and beyond, and everything that brought up for everybody on the call. Thank you, Boomit. Can you destroy and uncreate that? Right, wrong, good, bad,
Yes.
pop, pop, all 9 shots, boys and beyonds. Who else is going? Oh, I see some answers.
For me, it was rocking. I miss it.
Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, all 9 shots, boys and beyonds. Preeti says energy center. Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, all 9 shots, boys and beyonds. So what does sex mean to you? Preeti says, I miss it too. Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, all 9 shots, boys and beyonds. Wow, way more energy than I thought there would be to this call. Wow, that's awesome. Thank you, guys. Thank you for your willingness and your vulnerability to be present with this. Woo. So what does sex mean to you? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, all 9 shots, boys and beyonds. What do you mean to sex? Brings back energy, pleasure, connection. Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, all 9 shots, boys and beyonds. Loss of control, intense pleasure, fear of that superpower, being like a volcano. Wow, Cool. Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. What do you mean to sex? Come on, who's going first? I don't have moments. Expression is adorable. I wish I could hug you. She's like, I don't like that question. Okay, so communion, to strut your stuff, wonderful, be confident. Body, way of canalization of that energy, love your body and own confidence, have control over spouse. Ah, what does sex mean to you? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, all nine shots, boys and beyonds. What else? What does sex mean to you? Ease with ease. Awesome. Receive. Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, all nine shots, boys and beyonds. What else, guys? What does sex mean to you? Sorry, what do you mean to sex? Let's go there again. What do you mean to sex? What do you mean to sex? Attachment, manipulation, right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, all nine shots, boys and beyonds. What do you mean to sex? Sex is pleasure, right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, all nine shots, boys and beyonds. But what the question is now, what do you mean to sex? Joy, to receive, right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, all nine shots, boys and beyonds. Who else?
I don't have to think of it. Let sex think it.
Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, all nine shots, boys and beyonds. Being orgasmic. Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, all nine shots, boys and beyonds. Okay, let's go to the first question again. What does sex mean to you? Yes, Preeti, that was what do I mean to sex was the second question. But we're doing the first question now, and everywhere you all are really getting confused with the first and the second. Take a deep breath. And what does sex mean to you? How about we just expand? Cool. Luxury, manipulation. Okay, what else? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, all nine shots, boys and beyonds. What does sex mean to you? Joy, exuberance, enthusiasm, living, abuse, hate,
Way of
control,
communication of body.
communication of bodies, right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, all nine shots, boys and beyonds. What does sex mean to you? Pain, pleasure, anger, right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, all nine shots, boys and beyonds. What else? Way to patch up. Yeah, that. Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, all nine shots, boys and beyonds. So what do you mean to sex? Let's go to the second question. What do you mean to sex? Being wanted, loved, right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, all nine shots, boys and beyonds. What do you mean to sex? Pooja.
Hi.
Hi. So good to see you.
पहले से ही
What do you mean to sex? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, all nine shots, boys and beyonds. Everywhere you all are checking out, could you get present with the intensity of that, with the space of that, with the intensity of the space? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, all nine shots, boys and beyonds. Cool. So the meaning process is brilliant, guys, and I really invite you all to play with the meaning process with different topics, okay? But yeah, so let me just read. It's a sense that I have no words to. Awesome. Yeah, that's the energy, right, Hanifa? It's the energy that, you know, you sometimes can't put words to it, but you get that energy. And whatever that was, can we destroy and uncreate that? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, all 9 shots, boys and beyonds. Cool. So sex is the lower harmonics of receiving, right? We all know that. For all of you who've read the books or done the foundation, you would know that thoughts, feelings, and emotions, sex and no sex, are the lower harmonics, and the upper harmonics are knowing, being, perceiving, and receiving. In this reality, receiving has been equal to sex, and no receiving is equal to no sex, right? It's like, I'm not going to receive from that person. In other words, I'm not going to have sex with him. In other words, I'm not going to copulate with him. But if you look at and I love the way Access speaks about sex, the elements of sex, and how beautifully, you know, we look at sex as actually that energy of where you're actually strutting your stuff, looking tall, feeling good, receiving energy. Receiving energy that others are flowing to you. When they look at you and they admire you and they admire your body and they admire your whatever you're wearing, and they're like, wow, she looks so good. They're flowing an energy towards you, which you are allowing your body to receive. That is sex. And it's so brilliantly put, you know, it's like copulation is a part of sex, but it's not all of sex. It's a part of sex, yes. But how much have you gone into resistance of receiving as you've lumped everything to do with sex into copulation? Everything that is, will you destroy and uncreate that? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, all 9 shots, boys and beyonds. When you are willing to receive the energy, when you're willing to receive the flow of energy, you're also willing to receive every molecule around you. You're willing to receive the contribution, the flow, the energy of every molecule around you. Now, look at what that is. How expansive is that? And now look at no sex. Now I can't have sex. Oh no, I'm an Indian woman. I'm a married woman. Oh no, it's so terrible. It's so evil. It's so vicious. I can't even look at another man. Everything that brought up, you destroyed and created. Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, all 9 shots, boys and beyonds. So everywhere that you misidentified and misapplied, sex for receiving and receiving for sex, would you destroy and uncreate that? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, all 9 shots, boys and beyonds. I'm inviting you to the space of recognizing that sex is a lower harmonics of receiving. But sex is not equal to receiving. Do you get the difference here, guys? It is the lower harmonics of receiving, but it is not receiving. But in this reality, we have lumped it together. So oftentimes we reject receiving because we are rejecting having sex.
Chandana, what
Yes,
is
Pooja.
meaning of lower harmonic of receiving?
Yeah. So thank you for that question. So the lower harmonics are the thoughts, feelings, emotions, sex, and no sex. Right? The lower harmonics are where the lower vibration, you know, what you vibrate at, that keeps you stuck in this reality. are your thoughts, your feelings, and your emotions, and sex and no sex. And the upper harmonics are the thoughts. Instead of thinking, you know, which is your knowing. Instead of feeling, you sense, which is so much faster. So thoughts, feelings, emotions, you be. That is the upper harmonics. And instead of sex and no sex, it's receiving and not receiving. Right? So when you start to vibrate at the upper harmonics, the knowing, being, perceiving, receiving, there's a space of awareness, there's a space of receiving, there's a space that you be, where you're in total communion with every molecule in the planet. When you're in communion with every molecule, you are receiving. But when you're being in thoughts, feelings, emotions, sex, and no sex, you're creating a separation from every molecule in the planet. So there is no receiving. Did you get that, darling? Pooja?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Awesome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah. So what question would you like to ask and be that can exponentialize your receiving? Who wants to ask a question? Blank, everybody? Yeah, blank. Okay, cool. I'm good at talking. I can keep talking.
Chandana, I'm Usha
Yes.
here. I would
Hi,
like to
Usha.
ask, hi. I would like to ask about that. There is a book that sex is not a four-letter word. What does it mean? And just now you said that it is a lower harmonic feeling, and that, I mean.
Yeah, it's a lower harmonics that has, so the upper harmonics is receiving and the lower harmonics is sex and no sex. So when we say, when the book, if you've read the book, Sex is Not a Four-Letter Word, it is absolutely brilliant, because what is a four-letter word? All those loving words that you bestow on people you care for. All those loving words that come out of your mouth when you are so angry. All those four-letter words, right? So sex is not a four-letter word. In other words, sex is not something that's abusive or that's wrong or that's terrible. It's not. It's something that's truly beautiful, simply from the space of knowing that it's receiving. But sex in this reality has been twisted, tormented, judged, deformed into an energy that has you constantly rejecting it instead of receiving it. So everywhere that sex has been, the energy of sex has been tormented, twisted, that has you rejecting it, would you destroy and uncreate that? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pork, call 9 shots, boys and beyonds. You got to get that sex has nothing to do with copulation. And I'm repeating this because many of us don't get it till, I don't know, whenever you get it. But sex really has nothing to do with copulation. Sex is just an energy in your body. Sex is an energy in your body, and sex is an energy that your body enjoys, that your body receives. Your body, have you ever seen, okay, let's just look at it this way. What happens to your body when someone admires you? Does it make you, or does it make you, which of the two? The first one, right? Yeah. Yeah. So it expands your world. It expands your world, darling, because that's the energy that you be. Whereas when you are not willing to receive the energy of that energy flow of admiration, an energy flow, maybe from a little child who looks up to you in admiration, is like, wow, you're so beautiful. I mean, how many of you have had little children look up at you in total admiration, even if you're just in your night suit or in your pajamas, and they look at you and they think, they flow this energy to you that you are just so beautiful. Have you all received that energy ever before? Yeah? Yeah. Did that have anything to do with sex? No. I mean, with copulation. It had nothing to do with copulation. They were admiring you. They were admiring your energy. They were admiring who you be. And they were being the flow that connected their body to yours and created this flow between them and you. But you received it from the kids because you were like, oh, thank you. He's so cute. He thinks I'm beautiful, even if I've got no lipstick on and even if I'm wearing my pajamas. Because you think that he can only admire you when you're looking good. So how many of you have rejected the admiration instead of receiving it and allowing it to heal, change, mutate, transform everything that your body's asking to change? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, park, 9 shots, boys and beyonds. Yes, darling. Bhumit, do you have a question? No, okay. So something that I would just like to talk about again here is that you want to recognize that that sex is an energy, that your body that your body enjoys. If it's alive, it enjoys being sex. If it's alive, it enjoys the energy of sex. Without the rejection, without the points of views around it, what could you receive? Does that mean you have to go copulate? No. But does that mean that you are willing to copulate? Yes. But would you choose it? Maybe not. Because if you're not willing to do something, you've got your barriers up. You've gone into rejection. And that's how we cut, we snap, we snip, we cut pieces and parts of our receiving. And we decide who we can receive from and who we cannot receive from. Everything that brought up, would you all destroy and uncreate that? Oh, right, wrong, good, bad, pot, park, 9 shots, boys and beyonds. Any questions? No questions. Such a silent topic.
Chandana.
Yes, Lorena. Hi.
Hi everyone. Just a question because I perceive that I don't have ease with other women reaction. It's like I perceive that I can be attractive and create some discomfort in some words, other women words. So yeah, it's like yeah. It's done. Yeah, I don't know how to say. Just my barriers go up with this thinking.
Yeah, so if you could ask a question, what would that be?
What judgment can I perceive from these emotions?
Awesome, cool. So it's brilliant that you are acknowledging that you are perceiving judgments, right? That's the first step. Now, are you making those judgments real and true?
Yes.
That's where it lies. Perceiving
Yeah.
judgments, brilliant, brilliant. But now, what do you do with that? Do you make them real and true? Do you fight against them? Or do you fight for the rightness of your point of view and the wrongness of their point of view? Or do you fight yourself to see how they are right and you're wrong? Because to do that, it takes a lot of energy. To do that, it takes a lot of rejection. To do that, it takes a lot of barriers up. And you know, every time you do that, you lose $5,000. So what if you can receive the judgments of everybody around you right now and put your barriers down and receive? What would that look like? I'm going to make you all do a little exercise here. Right now, judge me. Like really judge me. Like really judge me. Write it if you want to, say it if you want to, bring the energy up, whatever. Just judge me. Judge me more. And more. Come on, guys, this is not good enough. Go on, judge. Judge me. Yeah, more. Cool, cool. Thank you for that. And now, judge me again. Yeah, Fena, heavy. Judge me again. And more. Come on, throw more at me. And more. Yeah. Was there a difference in the first and the second? For anybody? Hey, Rekha. Hello, my lovely. So happy to see you here. So, was there a difference in the first and the second for anybody? Or did it seem the same?
It was easier first time.
Okay.
Yeah, and second time it was heavy.
Really
Yes,
tough.
same here. Same here.
Thank you for that. Yes. Yes. Anybody else?
Mine was vice versa.
Okay. Awesome. The first time when you judged me, I had my barriers up. Okay. So you had to just push it, push it, push it. Right? And it kept sticking on me and sticking on me and sticking on me. And the second time when you did it, I had my barriers down. So just went through. I got emotional. Awesome. Awesome, Anuradha. Thank you for that. Yeah. Do you see what judgments do to you also? I mean, this was about judging me, but was it really about judging me? Or did it do something in your world too? Yeah, sadness, exactly. Thank you for that, Hanifa. That. And I want you all to get what judgment does. It's very easy to look at people and say, oh, but you know, it does something to you too, guys. So everywhere that you're not willing to recognize what judgment is doing to you, that has you constantly being in judgment, destroying you, would you all please revoke, recant, reclaim, rescind, renounce, destroy, and uncreate it all. Times a godzillion. Right, wrong, good, bad, what, what, 9 shots, boys and beyonds. That's okay, beautiful lady, Anuradha. It's probably tough for you to judge. And it's okay if you keep crying. Let it out, just release it. This is just for you all to recognize that when you, and now if you judge, sometime maybe you can all, or maybe you can even do this exercise now with each other, if you want to just, but then I don't know how you're going to do this because there's so many of us, but you can always do this to see what it does to your body. Like to see what it does to your body when people judge you and when you put your barriers up, you'll sense your body stiffening, contracting, hurting. And when the same person is judging you and your barriers are down and you're receiving, there's just ease and there's expansiveness and there's just joy. It's just an energy, guys. Judgment is just an energy. It's a polarity that you attach to the energy that makes it a judgment. So when you judge me with a polarity attached to it, and I don't have a point of view about it, and I have my barriers down, I'm receiving the energy. But when you are judging me with a polarity attached to it, and I have put my barriers up to it because I'm like, no, this is bad. That's painful. That's hard work. That's energy against energy. So everywhere you're doing that constantly in your life, where every time you receive the energy of sex, every time you receive the energy of sexualness, every time you receive the energy of adoration, caring, kindness, and every time you receive the healing energy, everywhere your barriers go up as a way of protecting, that has you hurting yourselves. Would you all destroy and uncreate that, please? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, 9 shots, boys and beyonds. So Lorena, what can change, honey, if you allowed their judgments to just go through you, to just be an allowance? Like, okay, thank you. What can you then do with that energy? What can you then create with that energy? Where can you then direct that energy to? Maybe to the banks, maybe to a project you're creating, maybe to a class that you're going to be facilitating or creating. And everything. That got up, would you destroy and uncreate it? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, 9 shots, boys and beyonds. Cool. Do we have another question? Oh, welcome, honey.
Hello.
Hello, lovely.
Hello. I have one question about
Yes,
barriers.
Yes.
Are we supposed to have barrier or have no barrier? And what does it do?
Yeah. So when you have barriers, you are actually creating a wall between you and the rest of the world. What is a barrier? A barrier is an energetic wall, which you can't see, but oftentimes your body, you can perceive it. It seems heavy, right? So when you have a barrier, you're using the barrier as a protection, but would an infinite being require protection? I mean, what do you use a barrier for? Yeah, Hanifa?
Protection.
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 Would an infinite being require protection?
No.
No. So where and what age and when and in which lifetime were you told you require protection? Everything that is, would you destroy and uncreate that, please?
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, 9 shots, boys and beyonds. When you have your barriers up, you're actually in no receiving mode. And when you have your barriers down, you are in receiving mode. But in this reality, Hanifa, we are told to keep our barriers up.
Yes.
As though that would create something. How many of you put your barriers up as a way of controlling what you can receive and what you cannot? Everything that is, would you destroy and uncreate it?
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pockle, 9 shots, boys and beyonds. And how many of you put your barriers up and reject to prove the power you can be instead of just receiving? And how many of you feel you have the power when you can say no? Or you have the power when you say, get lost? You think that's power and that's control over people. But that is power and control from this reality, honey. True power exists in your receiving, which comes from your barriers down. Receiving the energy. You don't have to receive every person. You don't have to allow them to walk into your lives. You don't have to allow them to come and take over. Just receive their energy. What does that mean? That means to have your barriers down, like what I did in the first and the second, when I had my barriers up, and then when I had my barriers down. Did you get that, Hanifa?
Mm.
Yeah?
Yes.
So when you're creating a barrier, you're creating a separation from you and those around you. So what do you expect to create from this separation?
Security, safe, feeling safe.
Everything that is. Thank you. That's a huge one. Would you destroy and uncreate that?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, online shots, boys and beyonds. Everywhere you're creating separation by keeping your barriers up as a form of security. Would you destroy and uncreate that, please?
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, online shots, boys and beyonds. Security comes from knowing that you know.
Oh, I see.
Security comes from knowing that you know. And would an infinite being need protection? Or would an infinite being choose to be aware?
Choose to be aware.
Yeah. And to be aware, what's required is to know, be, perceive, and receive. To be aware, you have to be willing to know, be, perceive, and receive. So everywhere that you're not willing to know, be, perceive, and receive, that keeps you in constant rejection, constant judgment. Would you all now please revoke, recant, reclaim, rescind, renounce, denounce, destroy, and uncreate it all times a godzillion.
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pockle, 9 shots, boys and beyonds. So what can change if you allowed your barriers to go down? What can you receive, sweetheart? And what can that energy create in your world? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pockle, 9 shots, boys and beyonds. Did that clarify it for you, Hanifa?
Yes.
Awesome.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm grateful. You know, something that I'd really like you all to see here. Oh, it's gone. Anyway, it'll come whenever it has to. Something that, I wanted to talk about. Okay. Yes, Preeti, raised hand.
Yeah. So Chandana, in the book, some of the books I don't remember the name. So the word sex is being used interchangeably as copulation. See, there is a definition of all these words: sexual work, sexuality, sex, so copulation. So at the same time, in the same book, it's interchangeably used sex for copulation. So that really confused me.
Okay. What is copulation? It's two body parts, putting
Yes,
two body parts together.
yes.
What is sex?
Strutting your stuff,
What is strutting your stuff?
the way you carry yourself. I mean, your everything. The way you
And yeah,
talk.
and it's your receiving the energy that others are flowing towards you,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
right? So
Right.
when they write that in some places, most of the time they are also talking about sex as receiving. I don't
Okay.
know which book you're talking about, and I would actually have to know exactly what you're talking about here to
Hmm.
be able to really speak more about it.
I think in embodiment, there's a
Yeah.
chapter on these entire.
Yeah, but we'd need to read the paragraph to know exactly. But
Yeah.
yes, we do talk about sex as receiving, and certain places they do also talk about. I have not really read a book where they're really spoken about sex as copulation, but
Not as population, interchangeable. It's
yeah,
like it's not as population. Yeah.
okay, probably. I just require more information on that book, love.
Yeah. And another question I
Yeah.
wanted to say, like as you said, the sex is seen as strutting your stuff, receiving. Then why is it a lower harmony?
Why is it a lower harmonic?
Yeah.
That's the elements of sex, honey. There are three that are creative, and then there are three that are destructive. There are three that are order, and there are three that are chaos. Sex is the chaos. Sex is the creative, the generative energy. Whereas sexuality is order. Sexuality is destructive energy. Sensuality is chaos. Sensuality is creative and generative energy. Orgasm is creative and generative and chaos. Copulation is order. I don't want to call it a destructive energy, but it's order. So when you look at the 6 elements of sex, the way they've described it, and I assume everyone's done the foundation, so I'm not really going into more details about what is what, but if you don't have details, then there are 6 elements of sex, and there are 3 that are from chaos, and then there are 3 that are from order, and the 3 that are creative and generative are sex, which is the flow of energy. There is sexualness, which is the kindness, the nurturing, the organic energy, where your life just seems to be expanding. And then there's orgasm, which is a generative energy, a creative energy, where we create something with that. And then there is the other energy, which is sexuality, which is of what you will not receive instead of what you will receive by creating a certain personality. So when you create a personality, your personality is so you can reject receiving instead of receiving, which is order, which is destructive, right? So there's sexuality, and then there is copulation, and then there is, which is the third one? Oh, look at me. Sexuality, copulation, sensuality, sex. Yeah. So did you get that, darlings, everybody? Sensuality, Sensuality, sexualness, and orgasm are the three creative components, and sex, sexuality, and copulation are the three elements that come from chaos. Okay? So, yes, thank you, Fina. So that is the energy of where you allow, when you look at the energy of sex, sexuality, and copulation, how much of that comes from judgments? How much of that comes from rejection? How much of that comes from barriers up and from a personality and an image and a role? Can receiving ever be from conditions and judgments, or is receiving unconditional? And that is the chaos, that is the energy of chaos that we look at when we look at the energies of sexualness and orgasm and, which is the third one? Sensualness. Thank you. So did you all get this? Yeah? Awesome. So everything that doesn't allow you to be the space and to receive from the energy that is the generative, creative, and the institutive energy, would you destroy and uncreate that? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pot, call 9 shots, boys and beyonds. Receiving is creative, generative, and institutive. When you are receiving, you are in the generative, creative mode. When you are not receiving, when you are rejecting, you are in the destructive mode. So what are you creating in your life? What are you being? And what would you have to be? What could you choose to be to receive from beyond this reality? And everything that doesn't allow that times a godzillion, would you all destroy and uncreate that, please? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pot, call 9 shots, boys and beyonds. Awesome. So do we have any more questions? Yes, darling, Sunita.
See, when we talk of the barriers down, now we generally put the barriers up when we are getting energies of, say, anger or, say, depression, negativity. So you just want to protect yourself and not go down, so you raise your barriers. Now, in that case, from what I understand now, is that even in that case, our barriers should be down so that that energy has to be received and acknowledged, and you gain from it.
So Sunita, when there's an energy of depression, when you are feeling depressed, let's say, that's depression is immense awareness of sadness in the world. All right? But depression is never yours. Anything that comes and goes is never yours. So depression is never yours. So at that moment, you want to ask, who does this belong to? And only when you have your barriers down and you ask that question, would you actually be able to change it? Because if you have your barriers up and you even are asking the question, you're not willing to receive a different way that's possible. Because now you're holding on to what's right. You're holding on to, I have depression, my point of view. To hold on to a point of view, you have to have your barriers up.
No, sometimes you are around people who are very depressive, and their energies, put you down, or they're very angry, or there is a tirade of emotions which, just contracts you. So in that case, do we put our barriers up and protect ourselves, or still put them down and receive?
Keep your barriers down and be interesting point of view. And no, it's not yours. No, it's not yours. No, it's not yours. That is the key.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for your question. Awesome. Do we have more questions?
Chandana, please.
Yes.
I have a question
darling.
for my. Thank you.
Yes.
I have a question for my my teenager, I have my daughter, she's 10, and she start to get feminine energies and aspect, and she chose clothes and some stuff. So how can I, it's not like guiding her, it's like how can I advise her to get present with all this energy of sexualness, and because in on TV, on social media, on all this teenager world, there is so many things around sex and the attitude, the postures, and so yeah, what contribution can
Yeah.
I be for her, please?
Beautiful question, Lorena. Thank you for that. And we talk a lot about this in the Conscious Parents, Conscious Kids class, which we are going to be having in a couple of days, in a few days. I don't remember the dates exactly. But yes, you want to look at what the children watch on television is not real. It's not true. It's a lie. Okay, there may be 1% of truth in that. But the 99% of what they're hearing, what they're believing is a lie. And what they are listening to is judgments. They're listening to don't do this, don't do that, that's okay, that's not okay. They're not being asked. They are not being asked, and they're not being educated about their body. They're not being educated about what is changing in their body. They're just supposed to hide the changes instead of ask, what is this? I mean, have you seen children when they start to, young girls, when there's little girls, when they start to grow their breasts, their moms will tell them, wear loose clothes. I see it all the time. Wear loose t-shirts, don't wear tight t-shirts. I'm like, what? Instead of getting your child to love their body, admire their body, and embrace their body, you're telling them, oh my God, you're growing. Hide it, cover it, shove it away. So it's like, how often have others done that with you, and how often is that your go-to way of dealing with daughters growing up, with daughters turning young, with daughters going into that stage of puberty, that you want to hide them somewhere so nobody sees them. But you know what? They love their body. They love it. And the more and more judgments that you put on their body gets them to finally detest their body. And then they grow up creating a body that they always hate. The body shape, the body size, they're always in judgment of it, because that's what was put on them when they were really little. They were taught to judge and make their bodies wrong. So what you see on television, what you watch, all of that, there's a lot of lies, there's a lot of judgment, there's a lot of don't do this and don't do that. But what can you as a mother sit with your child and talk to them and hear from them what they wish to know and ask you? Listen to what they wish to ask you. Don't tell them. Listen. Sit with them, start the conversation on, around sex maybe, start the conversation around your body when you were a growing girl maybe, and encourage them, invite them to talk with you, to communicate with you. So now you know where they are stuck, or you know what's not ease for them. Because how many of you assume that this is not comfortable for my daughter, so I must rush and save her and change her? But maybe it's comfortable for her. You got to allow it to come from them instead of forcing your point of view on them. And if we start to, I remember I had a class recently, a foundation class, and the mother was so sweet. She's just such a lovely lady. And she said, I don't want to bring my daughter to class because she's a teenager and she doesn't know anything about sex. Your daughter probably knows more than you do. She does. But she also probably knows a lot of lies. She's also probably believing a lot of lies around sex. So when we actually talk to your children from the space of consciousness, from the space of everything being, included, nothing being wrong or right, you're actually educating your daughter to know, or your son for that matter, you're educating your child to know what is true for them. You educate them by telling them that, don't tell them, don't let boys touch you, or don't go to girls. But you can always tell them that if someone touches you and it doesn't feel comfortable, scream and run. If you are out somewhere and something happens, call me and I'll come to get you. No questions asked, unless you want to tell me. Get them to trust you, that they can trust you with their body. Most of the society has taught children to put their barriers up as a form of protection of their body. Teach them to trust their body. Teach them to trust what their body knows by asking them, what do you know? What do you perceive about this person? What are you aware of? And your children will grow to be a generation that is totally empowered. Totally. It's going to be a totally different generation if parenting can change. The way we parent can change. Thank you for asking, Lorena. Thank you, honey. Thank you. Arisha. Oh, Krishna. I love red hearts. Whenever I see them, I get really excited. Thank you. Awesome. All right, guys. Do we have any more questions or are we good for tonight? Yeah?
Can I?
Yes, please go for it.
Sorry.
Lorena, go for it.
It's with my boy. He's 6, and
I love
even
how this class is becoming a CPCK call.
yeah,
Okay,
CPCK.
okay, go for it.
We did a CPCK the last year, 1 year
Yeah,
ago, and
yes.
now I start to see and perceive what you said, so I come back to all these things. Thank you for that. And my boy, so he's 6, and he really have this sexual energy like a volcano. So wow. So it's like I tried to keep him on sport, to try to um flow this energy out of this body, because it's like you want to purge everything and just scream and move every time. So here, when you talk about sexual energy with this little boy, do you advise me to always um, keeping flowing out this energy with sport or with something else, or is there something, is there something I have to do with consciousness here,
So oftentimes we've misidentified and misapplied
Okay.
sexualness sexual energy as just being extremely boisterous. Okay, when a child is being boisterous, he's being boisterous. Sexualness can be an extremely soft energy. Sexualness can be just a child sitting on a chair. That's the energy of sexualness. That is also the energy of creation. Boisterous is more like what and please check me if I'm wrong, but is that the energy that you're really talking about? Yeah, so with that energy, you want to be the energy pull from the universe through him, through you, out of you constantly. Yeah, just that. Just keep pulling energy, pulling energy, pulling energy, pulling energy, and ask him to broadband. Teach him to broadband. Teach him to expand. So when he expands his awareness zone, children who are really boisterous are extremely aware, and they're very aware of everybody's thoughts, feelings, and emotions. So they're actually playing out everybody's thoughts, feelings, and emotions, thinking that they're theirs. So at that time, you want to teach your child to broadband his awareness. You know, the moment you ask him to broadband it and the moment you ask him to expand his energies, there will be a space of where he will look at everything and know what is his and what is not his. You can do it for your children. You can, while sitting here and your kids are at school, you can energetically ask their being to expand and their zone of awareness to expand. You can just do that. Okay?
You expand my universe as
Oh,
mom. So thank you so much.
thank you. Thank you. I'm so
Ma'am,
grateful for
I have a question. How
yes.
will a child understand how to expand his
His zone,
yeah.
awareness zone. So when a child is little, they don't get it. Okay, you have got to do it for them. So you've got to see that your being and your child's being are not separate.
Okay.
Okay, it's just the bodies are separate, but the being is one. So it's very easy for you to expand, and as you expand, to ask the being to expand, the child's being to expand. So if he's having a tantrum moment and he's screaming and he's yelling, what do? You contract and you're like, stop it, stop it. Why are you doing that? What's the matter? Why are you doing that? Do you see the energy? That little boy will even scream out more because what he's getting is this huge push of energy at him, and he doesn't want to be pushed with energy, so he's going to push it back at you. So that's what creates this massive clash between, in parenting. That's one of the main, cross of parenting. At that time, when they start to scream, yell, shout, expand. Initially, it may not be easy, but it will. You will finally get it. Initially, you might go into a tantrum yourself or into anger yourself and immediately remind yourself, I've got to expand. So just expand, and as you expand, ask the being of your child to expand with you. And sometimes you just want to open your arms to them, while you expand, so they feel safe and they don't have to hold on, because they can no longer hold on to their anger. They can no longer hold on to their tantrums.
My daughter, she is like that, and she is very energetic. And I used to feel, I don't know, I used to feel very uncomfortable in her energies. And the word you were using, boisterous, exactly suits her. So now, when you told me to energetically, I can do that, or maybe I can just expand myself,
Yes.
so it will expand
Yes.
her zone also.
Yes.
So I would surely like to do this.
Yes.
And because of this thing, no, we love each other, but we are not able to communicate that.
Yeah.
And she has bundles of papers where she has written Bhumit is equals to Ziana. Ziana loves Bhumit, Bhumit loves Ziana. But she is writing it on the paper. I can feel that, she can feel my love. But somehow when we are into certain different activities, I am into my course, what I'm doing, she's into hers, we are not able to communicate on that same ground.
Yeah.
So either I am telling her to do it, or she is trying to tell me, okay, mama, please do it that way. So controlling factor, there comes a controlling factor. Then I keep telling her, no, you have to do it this way. Then consciously I have to make myself understand, let her choose. Let her choose.
That.
Yeah, so that was like me. I would like to do this.
Yeah.
What you do.
Yeah.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, parenting is a very different aspect and access. And I've been facilitating conscious parent, conscious kids for the past, 4 years, 3 years now. And it changes so much, not just with parenting, but it changes so much with your parents, with your, I mean, Sunita here has done it. And yeah, and it changes so much with your grandkids, with your parents, with your, yeah, Lorena has done it too. Yes. And it is one of the most amazing classes. And we have one coming up on the 16th, 17th, and 18th of August. So if any of you would like to join us, you're more than welcome. And I love the way this has taken a turn. Even Malvika has done it. Malvika, what will it take to have a beautiful smile on your face? All the contribution.
You.
Lovely.
You bring a smile always.
Thank you. As do you. All right, lovelies. Looks like it's a wind up. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you, me too. Thank you for being here, honey. Thank you. Thank you. Lord. Thank you all. I loved it. Loved having you on. And we will meet next month, September, same day, the first. Today's Thursday, right? Yeah. So first Thursday of every month, 8 p.m. All right. See you all next month.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank
And
you.
before that,
Thank you, everyone.
bye. Love you all. Thank you for being here. Bye, Pooja.
Thank you. Thank you, Chanda.
Thank you, darling. Thank you.